Hi everyone. Welcome back to Unite Pieces channel, and today we are going to tell you about an action, thriller movie, titled 3 Days to Kill. 3 Days to Kill tells the story of Ethan, a critically ill senior CIA agent, trying to reconnect with his daughter, but his superiors offer him an experimental drug that could save his life, in exchange for one last mission. So, make sure you watch this video till the end, for a better experience. The movie begins at the CIA headquarters in Virginia. An agent named Vivi Delay is called by two men who are her superiors. Vivi is called to carry out a secret mission, which is to arrest an arms dealer, named Wolfgang Brown, are commonly nicknamed the Wolf. Intelligence confirms that in 7 days there will be a radioactive bomb sale transaction, which will be carried out by Albino, the Wolf's confidant, which will take place at a hotel in Belgrade, the capital of Serbia. Meanwhile in Belgrade, the CIA itself has added a field agent, who is tasked with keeping an eye on the movements of Albino and his accomplices. That person is Ethan Renner, a CIA veteran agent whose track record and working career is above average. Ethan was placed as a field agent in Belgrade. Ethan then easily eliminated the prospective buyers who were waiting for the Albino's arrival. Shortly thereafter, the Albino came to the hotel, and Ethan managed to scan the suitcase carried by the Albino. Ethan then left the hotel and then handed over the scanner suitcase to his team in a van, and confirmed that the contents were indeed a radioactive bomb. After that, Ethan got out of the car and headed for a public telephone booth, to call his daughter, Zooey, who was having a birthday today. But unfortunately, the call was only answered by an answering machine. Meanwhile in the hotel, Albino accidentally recognizes a female clerk there, who is actually one of the CIA agents, who is definitely undercover. Albino then realizes that they are currently being framed. Albino then captures and kills the woman. After a while, they cancelled the sale plan, and the gang left the hotel to escape. However, the shootout between the CIA agents and the terrorists was inevitable. Meanwhile, Vivi, who was watching from a distance, could only witness the failure of the mission to capture the Wolf, who had been hunted by the CIA for the past 10 years. Ethan then chased the Albino, who escaped carrying the bomb suitcase. Ethan was actually almost able to catch the Albino, but his illness suddenly recurred, so the Albino managed to escape. However, his right leg was shot by Ethan. Some time later, Ethan, who was in the treatment room, was told by the doctor who treated him, if Ethan was diagnosed with brain cancer, and predicted if the rest of his life would only last 3 months. Therefore also, Ethan, who had served as a CIA agent for 32 years, was finally retired by the CIA from his service as a field agent. Ethan then intends to improve his relationship with his wife and child, whom Ethan has left for the past 5 years. Ethan then leaves for Paris, where his wife and child now live. However, Ethan took the time to stop by his hiding apartment first, but what a surprise Ethan was when he found out, if the apartment that Ethan had left for years, was now occupied by a refugee family from Mali. The head man of the family was named Jules, and Jules immediately introduced some of his family members to Ethan. At first Ethan intended to evict them all, but Ethan changed his mind after learning that one of the refugee family members was pregnant. Ethan then allowed them to temporarily live in the apartment, at least until the baby in the womb was born. Due to his decision, Ethan ended up staying in a hotel for a while. Ethan then tearfully looked back at the video memories with his daughter Zooey when she was little. The next day, Ethan called his wife, Christina, to make an appointment at the lawyer's office, to make a will for his son. Ethan then bequeathed all the assets that Ethan had, all of it for his beloved daughter's future school fees. Ethan then went to Zooey's school delivered by Tina. Ethan tried as much as possible to get along with his daughter, who was now 16 years old, while Zooey was confused about how to behave. As a result, Zooey preferred to go home with her friends. On the way home, Ethan stopped by the market to shop for groceries, in preparation for Ethan's dinner with his family. There, Ethan meets a blonde woman, who we both know that it is Vivi, the CIA agent who appeared at the beginning of the movie. Vivi then introduced herself to Ethan, as well as explaining her purpose for meeting Ethan. Vivi said that Ethan was the only agent who had clearly seen the Wolf's face, even though Ethan did not recognize him. Vivi then asked Ethan to cooperate with her, hunt down and kill the Wolf and his accomplices, who in the previous operation managed to escape. Ethan certainly could not refuse, because the reward offered by Vivi was not just money, but a cancer trial drug, which could most likely cure his disease. While in the elevator, Ethan then proposed an additional payment of $1 million. Unexpectedly, Vivi immediately agreed, as well as fulfilled her promise to inject the drug that she had promised earlier. In the evening, the side effects of the drug given by Vivi began to be felt, where Ethan began to experience hallucinations, and his heart beat very fast. Ethan was then told by Vivi over the phone, if the side effects of the drug could be controlled by drinking alcohol. Fortunately, Ethan managed to take a vodka and immediately drank it, and the hallucinogenic side effects ended. The next day, Tina left while it was still early in the morning. Soon Ethan was again surprised by the behavior of his daughter's pattern of wearing a wig to cover her hair. Not only that, Zooey then took Ethan's cell phone and then changed the special ringtone call on her behalf. Vivi again went to a place to meet someone named Matat Yilmaz, a limousine car rental service entrepreneur who was often hired by albinos, the wolf's trusted men. They then took Matat to a place on the riverbank under the bridge. Here Ethan tried to extract information from Matat about the whereabouts of the albino's accountant, by torturing Matat using an electric voltage jumper. The scene then switches with a showing of a small person, wearing glasses into a hotel lobby and accompanied by several bodyguards. Shortly thereafter Ethan went to the hotel referred to by Matat. When Ethan almost approached the accountant's hotel room, suddenly his cell phone rang again with a special ringtone tone from Zooey. So Ethan decided to postpone his mission and then went to an amusement park, where Ethan and Zooey used to spend time together in the past. Finished playing flying chairs, the father and son then continued by drinking hot chocolate together at their favorite restaurant. Shortly thereafter Zooey excused herself to leave first, because she just remembered that she had a group assignment with her Russian school friend named Karina, and had to stay overnight at her house. Ethan then called Tina and told her via voice message about the progress of his relationship with Zooey, as well as asking about Zooey's Russian friend. Ethan then entered Zooey's room and tried to find information about the whereabouts of his son. Ethan then went to the appointment place, and found Zooey's school bag in which there was a kind of brochure with Spider. Ethan then went to the Matat residence which Ethan knew had 2 daughters of Zooey's age. Ethan then asked what was meant by Spider to the 2 twin daughters of the Matat, which was then answered straightforwardly by both that it was a party. Armed with the information that Ethan had just gotten, Ethan then went to the party place, and saw Zooey being taken by several men into the toilet. Ethan immediately came and beat all the less reasonable men, and managed to save Zooey. In the morning, Zooey also woke up in her father's lap. The two of them then went home with Zooey, who was carried by her father on a bicycle. After taking Zooey, Ethan then went to Matat to ask where the accountant's current whereabouts were. After getting information from Matat, Ethan then followed the convoy of cars carrying accountants on bicycles. When they arrived at the crossroads, Ethan immediately carried out his action by kidnapping the accountant. By utilizing the gap between the car and the bus next to the car, Ethan then took the accountant named Guido to his apartment, and then held him in the bathroom. Ethan then left and ordered the boy there to release Guido in 2 hours. Ethan then went to meet Vivi at a snake dancer club. Ethan then handed over the suitcase he managed to snatch from Guido's hands to Vivi. In return, Vivi then fulfilled her promise to return to give Ethan the cure for cancer. But Ethan's task was not finished because Albino and the wolf were still not caught. After that Ethan returned to his wife's house, and taught Zooey to dance in preparation for attending the dance party tomorrow night, which will be held by Zooey's close friend named Hugh. The next morning, Ethan received a call from Vivi who said that Albino was currently in a hotel. Ethan then quickly went to the hotel and then followed the car that was occupied by Albino. Finally, Ethan managed to chase, crash, and drop the car from the bridge, but the wolf had already escaped towards the subway station. Ethan then chased the wolf and almost caught him, but unfortunately Ethan had to fall because of his relapsed disease again. A moment later the albino came and tried to kill Ethan, by bringing his head closer to the train track, but Ethan immediately got up and managed to push back the albino, which caused the albino to be hit by the train. But the wolf managed to escape. Ethan called Vivi for help, and Ethan was immediately rescued and taken back to Vivi's secret place. Shortly thereafter, his wife called and asked Ethan to come home immediately, so that they would not be late for their close friend Zooey's party. Meanwhile, the wolf who had just escaped then changed his plan by asking one of his partners to help him get out of Paris that night. Ethan, who had returned home then with his wife and daughter, came to a building to attend the party invitation. While in the elevator, Ethan is introduced to Zooey's friend's party host, Hugh, as well as his business partner who turns out to be a wolf. In the party room, the wolf then ordered his men to make a plan to escape and kill Ethan. The shootout ensued, and the wolf managed to escape. However, The elevator he was using got stuck and made him stuck in it until the elevator fell, but the wolf still managed to survive, even though he had to be seriously injured. Ethan then went down to the ground floor to finish off the wolf, but apparently his illness returned, and Ethan fell again and couldn't even pull his gun. Fortunately, a few seconds later Vivi came, and without further ado immediately finished off the wolf. Ethan finally managed to survive until Christmas, and spent time with family in a house on the beach. Ethan then opened a red gift package, which turned out to contain a cancer cure given by Vivi, and that's how the movie ended. This movie highlights the value of family, and from this movie we can also learn not to give up on fate, and keep trying. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and see you tomorrow.